Welcome everybody to the Cowboy Slot channel. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. Just a little background on myself. I worked in the casino business for about 8 years. I was a slot technician. I received formal training from manufacturers. I worked in both Class 2 and 3 facilities, and I also owned my own business where I bought and sold slot machines. And you can learn more about me by visiting my website at www.ropethejackpot.com. Now, this video is a continuation of my other Mythbuster videos. So if you're looking for a particular myth that's not answered here in this video, check that out. I'm also going to include a card in the top of the screen there for you guys to check out my other Mythbusters, and a link in the description down below. Also on my channel, I do offer tips on how to better your slot play and what to watch for in a slot machine, so be sure to check out my whole channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications when I come out with future videos. Now, this video, we're going to dive right into it. So, this video is going to strictly be talking about casinos in the United States. So if you're watching from another country, this might not apply to you. Also, if you are in the United States, you always want to keep this in mind, that aside from the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, there is no federal standard for casinos to follow. Every state and every tribe is different. So, what applies to one casino might not apply to them all. And if you are trying to do research, I always encourage you to research your own area just to be sure and to find out what information is right for you. So, let's dive right into it. So let's talk about recording in casinos. So I know that you've probably seen a lot of slot channels out there and you see people recording their slot play all the time. But why is it that casinos are so picky and some casinos do not allow recording at all? Are they trying to hide something? Well, let's talk about it. So the main reason why casinos prohibit recording is not because they're trying to hide something, but rather it's for copyright reasons and privacy reasons of the other players. Think about it for a second. Think about if you're recording something out on the slot floor and you happen to catch somebody in one of your recordings that maybe shouldn't be there, or maybe they're lying to their spouse, or they're playing hooky with their employer. That actually did happen once. There was an employee that called in sick to work and they got recorded out on the slot floor and their employer saw it, and it was not pretty. Well, in many jurisdictions, those people can actually come back on the casino for that. So the casinos are very, very picky about recording. You'll notice on a lot of slot channels how they will focus just strictly on the machine itself and just strictly on the screen. And the reason for that being is for privacy reasons. A lot of times casinos will give you permission to record with the stipulation that you do not willfully or intentionally record other people on the floor. That's why a lot of slot channels, especially if you see them recording the casino floor, they do it when it's dead, and that's mostly due to the fact that the casino does not want them recording other people. Now, some of the big slot channels out there that you might see, they actually do have permission to record in the casino in general areas, especially when it's busy. So what should you do if you want to take some pictures or record in the casino? It's really simple. First thing you should always try to do is try to get permission from the casino. A lot of times, if they don't respond, maybe they don't care or whatever, that's fine, you can record, but just keep something in mind. Most casinos will not allow you to record the general areas. They will only want you to record what is on your screen. The next step, never record table games. Table games are the only areas of the casinos that they are very, 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 very picky on. The only way that you can record table games is if you have explicit permission from the casino to do so. Also, be smart when you're recording in the casino. Do not aim the camera up and try to record camera locations, exits, or anything that might look suspicious. So just keep those in mind when you're recording into the casino. And that brings us to number 2. So let's talk about surveillance. Now, surveillance is probably the biggest mystery shroud in the casino industry altogether. It's so secretive, in fact, that when you're applying to work for surveillance, you actually have to list your family and friends, and they will strictly enforce that you not be friends with anybody currently working in the casino. And in fact, taking it a step further, anybody outside of surveillance is not allowed to know the inner workings of the operation. So why is it so secretive, and what exactly are they watching for? Well, it's not necessarily what you think. Let's dive into it. So casinos are essentially one giant bank, except unlike a bank, they have millions of dollars floating around on the floor at any given point, and they have incredibly high foot traffic. Theft attempts actually do happen all the time. And yes, it is true, they do have undercover people out on the floor that are watching, and they do have police officers on site for if a theft attempt were to occur. So, what are they exactly watching for? Are they watching you play your game? Yes and no. So how surveillance is laid out is each surveillance employee is either assigned a section of the floor to watch or a particular game to watch, such as a card table like blackjack or craps or roulette or something like that. Now, for the slot floor, generally speaking, what they're watching for is mostly they are there to protect you and also to do rollbacks for if, like, let's say you're playing with a group of people or you're playing with a spouse and you hit a jackpot, they need to know exactly who hit that jackpot and who is responsible for the win. In most all casinos in the United States, not all, but in most all casinos in the United States, the player that actually pushes the button is the one that wins the jackpot. So if there's ever any kind of discrepancy, they need to know exactly who is playing that machine and who was the one that pushed that particular button. So they are not watching to make sure to see how much you're winning or losing. That is merely false. Most of the times when they're watching the slot floor, they're just watching for suspicious activity or to do rollbacks on jackpots. Table games, on the other hand, table games, there's usually one or two people that are assigned to a table to watch the particular game, to watch for signs of advantage playing. And if you do work in surveillance, you actually do have to keep current on all the knowledge and tricks and stuff that people are trying, and they go through rigorous training on a regular basis to make sure that they stay current on all of that. But despite the myths that you might have heard, surveillance actually has no control of the machines whatsoever. They cannot remotely change the machine. They do not sit there and watch to see how much you're winning or how much you're playing. They do not see any data from the machine in particular. They can't look up and control one particular machine. That's simply false. They are mostly there for theft protection and to protect the assets of the casino. So let's talk about slot machine tickets. So when you're playing a slot machine, oftentimes when you cash out, you get a little paper voucher. The machines do read cash and those paper vouchers the exact same way. So the machine does not read one different from another. So what is the information that's on that ticket? Because a lot of people seem to think that if you cash out a ticket and take it from one machine and put it in another, that machine will mysteriously read how much you won or lost and try to get its money back. And that information is false. The only information that's listed on the ticket is each ticket is given a serial number, and that number is for the cage and for the ATM machines to read to make sure that you get your money. Those tickets are also recorded in a database. So, for example, let's say if you're playing at a slot machine and you cash out a ticket and you lose that ticket, if you go up to the cage and you say, hey, I lost my ticket, I was playing at this machine, they'll normally walk you over and see. And what they do is they can actually pull the serial number from that ticket from the machine in their database, and they can pull it and pay you out your winnings. That's the only information that's on those tickets, guys. The machines do not understand or care what you did at your previous machine. They don't adapt their play because you're playing with a voucher from another machine. That's simply false. Tickets and cash are read the exact same way. So let's talk about server-based gaming. Now, people seem to think that just because it's 2022 that server-based gaming is everywhere, and that's actually false, but it's not to say that server gaming does not exist, and we're going to talk about it right here and right now. So, in a Class 3 facility, and that's one thing, guys, Class 3 is the key here. In a Class 3 facility, the machines are still linked on a network, but that network is mainly for two reasons. Number one being player tracking, that would be your Players Club card, and number two being for if the machine shares a progressive jackpot with other machines on the floor. In a Class 3 facility, those machines cannot be remotely changed or altered, period. The server that those are connected to has nothing to do with the gameplay of the machine. And again, that's Class 3. So let's talk about Class 2. In case you missed it, I do have an entire video on how Class 2 gaming works. I'm going to include that card at the top of the screen. So if you missed that video, go check it out, especially if you live in an area with a lot of Indian casinos, bingo-based servers, stuff like that. Check out that video on Class 2 gaming. So Class 2 gaming is the only type that the odds can be remotely changed or altered on the server, because those machines actually do pull off of a central bingo-based server. So that's the only exception to this. But if you're playing in a Class 3 facility, which would be any casino in Las Vegas, you don't have to worry about your odds being changed. So when can the casino change the odds? And can they change the odds while you're playing it? Well, that gets into our next topic. Can the casinos remotely change the odds while you're playing it? A lot of people think that, surveillance is watching you and they see you're winning a lot, and then they make a phone call and, somebody in the back flips a switch or changes the game. Is that possible? The answer is no. And that actually has nothing to do with the casino whatsoever, but it's actually built in with the manufacturer. So, in order for the odds to be changed on any slot machine whatsoever, in order for the odds to be changed on a machine, there has to be two criteria that is met. The first, the game cannot be in play. So if you are playing a machine, if you are actively playing it, they cannot change the odds. The machine itself will not let them. That's a manufacturer built-in feature. It's nothing the casino can change, so the casino can't alter that. They cannot change the odds while you are playing the game. Second, the machine has to be free and clear of all credits. So even if you put money into the machine and you're sitting there and you're not playing it, they still cannot change the odds. The machine itself will not allow them to do that. We, as employees, cannot change the odds on any machine that is either in play or has credits in the machine. So if you're playing a game and you're on a big winning streak and you're having a good time and you're making all this money and then all of a sudden you start losing, trust me, the casino did not do anything to affect that. That's simply the machine and the gameplay of it. So let's talk about another myth. Everybody always asks me this, I get constant comments on it, that slot machines and casino games are rigged, or the casino is doing something special to try to get more money out of you and rig the game so that you lose. And here's the thing, guys, that's false. And it's false because the casino does not need to rig anything. They bank on two things. Number one, either A, you walk into the casino, you gamble, and you lose your money, and they get the money, or B, you walk into the casino, you win, and then you're overcome with happiness, you're overcome with joy, they give you free drinks, free rooms, all of this, and inevitably, you lose your inhibition and you put that money right back in and they get it right back. So those are really the two factors. The casino doesn't need to rig anything. Every single game, every single slot machine is all designed to give the house the advantage at the end. They don't need to do anything special. They don't need to jump through hoops and try to deviate around laws and change programming and all of that. They don't need to do that because in the end, they're going to get their money and they're going to win in the end. The best thing that you can do as a player is A, try to, when you do win money, leave the casino with your money. That's the best thing that you can do, guys. The casino does not have anything special. They don't do anything special. They don't need to do anything special to rig any type of game. So the legal definition of it, and a lot of people would say, oh, well, that's still rigging if they have the advantage. No, it's called gambling. There is a legal difference. Remember, we are talking about the legal definition of what rigging means, not your personal definition. We are talking about the legal definition of what rigging means. In legal terms, it is called gambling, and that's it. It's not rigged, it's just gambling. So have fun, make your money, and try to get out of the casino as quickly as you can with your winnings. That's the best thing that you can do. Thank you all again so much for tuning in to the Cowboy Slot channel. As a reminder, this video was a continuation of my other video series on Casino Mythbusters. So if there is a topic that I did not cover in this video, go back through my library and check out some of my other videos because I do answer a lot of questions on there. And I have a lot of other good videos in the library as well, such as tips to better your slot play and what to watch for, casino reviews, live play, and a whole lot more. Just some closing comments for you guys that I wanted to just recap on really quick. Number one, not all casinos are the same. So some information that you might be hearing from this channel might be different in your area. So always double check, especially if you are doing research on casinos. You want to make sure and double check in your area to see if these rules apply to your jurisdiction. Also, guys, gambling is meant for entertainment purposes only. If you or somebody that you know is struggling with a gambling problem or an addiction, please reach out to your local help hotline. There are different hotlines for various states, and you can gather that information even from your local casino. So as always, guys, have fun. Best of luck to you, and please do like, subscribe, and share my channel with all of your friends and family, because who knows, you might learn something new. Anyway, guys, best of luck to you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk again soon.